Okay, I think we're going to get going in a couple minutes here. Making sure we're doing our audio check. Okay, I think we're going to get going in a couple minutes here. Making sure we're doing our audio check. Okay, glasses. Okay, if you're dropping into the live stream, I'd appreciate it if you could pop your name into the chat. I have Maria joining us, so good evening, Maria. Hope everything is going well for you. Okay. Dun, dun. Got a couple things here lined up. Okay. Photoshop files. Oops. Just getting my Photoshop files all put together here, so we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. Cool. I think we're ready to go. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you coming to the live stream tonight. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're talking about leveling up your storyboards tonight. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. I know Maria's joining us. Appreciate you joining in, Maria. Are you working on any storyboards right now? I know you're working on some stuff. What are you working on tonight? And so tonight we're going to be talking a lot about how to keep that fire burning. We talked about taking massive action earlier this month, and today I'm just going to share some tips, tricks of how I stay creatively active, and sort of what am I looking forward, what am I looking for when I'm working on my boards, and how do I level up. We talk about video game characters, and how do I get a power up, how do I level up my skill sets. And we're going to be talking about some different actions here. I'm going to share some stuff that I currently do just to keep myself inspired, keep myself jazzed. You work all day drawing boards, and there's a lot to this this job of being a storyboard artist. Whichever, if you're a visual storyteller, or a comic book artist, or animator, or a visual storyteller doing feature animation, traditional story, TV show animation, live action, illustration work. We got to keep honing in. We got to temper our skill sets, keep honing and keep practicing. I think over all the years, I've never stopped learning. I'm always, even today, I challenge myself each and every day in terms of my learning and keep going up. So Maria said to me real quick, the homework from last Saturday is what I've been working on the last few days. Oh, I'm super excited. Thanks for taking on that challenge. I gave everybody a challenge from our last live stream, whether it be a single panel, a single shot story, or a beginning, middle, and end in terms of a 3-part story. So cool. Hey, I really look forward to seeing that work, Maria. So please share it to me with me over on Instagram. Love to see it. Love to give you some feedback on it. See how you're doing with it. And if if you're okay, maybe one of these future live streams we can show your work and show what's going on. But before we get started, get into the live stream. Good evening. My name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. And I put together this channel to help like-minded visual storytellers like you to help share my processes and sort of my journey with you. I hope this, what I'm trying to do is build a group of like-minded people so we could sort of work together a little bit and learn together as we get going in this fantastic craft. And I want this particular YouTube channel to be a resource for you, because I always think about, I wish I had that mentor, when I was up and coming and I first started working in comics or in graphic design, and I was like, wow, I wish I had somebody there that I could ask some questions to, talk to another pro, and sit there and go, well, how did you do it? How did you get to where you wanted to be? And share those examples and sort of that journey, on top of sharing some best practices and some tutorials. And I'm always stretching myself. Like right now, I'm just on the initial stages of learning Blender, and how can I use this open developed 3D software. I know they have a grease pencil. There's a bunch of different plugins, and how can I use that in my work? So cool stuff. Tornado T just joining in. Hey Tornado T, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining in with the live stream. So like I was saying, this channel, it's been going great. And you know what? Thank you so much, everybody. I just saw we just broke 700 subscribers. That's awesome, and congratulations to you. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you for helping me, put this YouTube channel over here on the map. I know to me is 700 is, to some people it doesn't seem like a lot, but to me it means the world to me, that there's so many people out there craving this type of information, this type of value out there, and anything I can do to help folks out, hey, that's a great thing, and I'm happy to do that. So thank you so much for subscribing. Thanks for believing in me, and to give you the knowledge and there. And I'm looking so forward. It's only been, we're not even into this for 4 months yet, and you've helped me grow this so quickly. And I appreciate you dedicated folks on there. There's so many people coming in all the time. From Maria to Tornado T, new people. Ruby's back again. Ruby DN Arts. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you being on board and hanging out with me tonight. So, but it means the world to me. I take this out of my own personal time. I sort of have myself sort of in a regiment with the Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But I've been having a blast doing this, and I enjoy, hanging out with you good friends out there. And I hope you guys are getting some great value, whether you be here on the live stream, which is sort of interactive, and I try to make it interactive, or you're catching me on the replay. So thanks so much for watching. Continue watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like and a comment in the chat, or just subscribe to help to support the channel. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying what you're watching, and you want to see a lot more. And I have so many great future ideas that I want to do with this channel and things I'd like to do. So appreciate the support. We're still in our infancy, so we'll keep going. So awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. So again, this channel's for you. Drop any comments that you'd like, or reach out to me, and I'll leave you my contact information real quick But let's talk about the programming. I come to you 3 days a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays about the same time. This is a time, like I said, family. I get home from work. Family's already, we've already had dinner, did everything. Everybody, boys have done their homework, all that fun stuff, and we're off. And I have my quiet time in my studio at night where I'm sort of got my projects done that I'm working on right now, and sort of just get to chill out with you, good friends out there, and share. But if you're interested, the program that I have right now is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So on Tuesdays, we have what we call Mastering the Basics. And that's what we're talking about today, is our storyboarding, Mastering the Basics. This is more of a tutorial, how-to. How can I become a storyboarder? What are the things I need to know how to do? Tonight's journey, we're going to be talking about, like I said, is we're going to be talking about how do I level up my work, and you can say this is for storyboard work, or how do I level up my art, how do I challenge myself to get better at my craft, how do I temper and hone in, what is most important, how can I be successful. So that is on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays we have our sketching after hours. We got to put in the pencil mileage, we got to put in those reps. And I keep talking about it. I don't care what size sketchbook you have, either a little small sketchbook, some of the big sketchbooks like I have. I use these Canson 8.5 by 11 sketchbooks. I use them as my diary. If you want to go back and watch one of the earlier streams from 2024 right now, I go into how to use your sketchbook more than just to draw pictures, how to use it as a journal, how to use this information to help you grow and be successful. And let me just see what I have in this. There are so many drawings I have done, and just studies and different things, and you sit there and you're having fun with it. Let me just see if there's anything. And sometimes it's just little simple studies, of images and things like that. And it's just like you should always be sketching all the time. And we're always, and sometimes I'm just doing little thumbnails of just expressions and gesture and those type of things. And I'm doing that all the time. And I have a sort of a routine, and I try to share with you on my shorts. Sometimes on lunch breaks, I'll just throw my camera down and record myself drawing, for even if it's 5 minutes. I think it's super important to continue drawing. So that sketching after hours is a time for us to hang out and sort of get that pencil line, put in those reps. To get better at our craft. And then on Saturdays, we have our storyboarding jam session, which we have some really cool jam sessions in where I sort of just wing it. I'm not going off a shooting script or anything like that. We're just sitting there and drawing and having fun with it. I've done, we've done, during October, we did all sorts of horror movies, from The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Ichabod Crane, The Tale of the Headless Horseman, vampires. We've done Tarzan, we've done Die Hard, we've worked on Jaws, car chases, all sorts of fun stuff. So that's on Saturdays, our storyboard jam sessions. Usually the same times, 11:45 p.m. here on the East Coast, and 8:45 on the West Coast. So I hope that's the program that I have right now. I'm looking forward. I got some new stuff that's going to be popping up pretty soon to be able to share with you, other than the shorts that I'm popping up. So I hope all this great content is happening. It is, it's working for you. Go back, watch those playlists. There's a lot of playlists. There's a Mastering the Basics, Storyboarding Mastering the Basics playlist, a Sketching After Hours playlist, and then of course there's a Storyboard Jam Session playlist. So either watch the whole playlist at your leisure, or break down into those sections. I know with the Storyboarding Mastering the Basics series, we've also talked about how, from a shooting script to a shot list to thumbnailing to roughs to final images and animatics. So there's a lot of data. So pick and choose what helps you, or if not, watch everything at your leisure. So also, I'm really happy to see everybody really enjoyed our Saturday broadcast. We were talking about you know, story and basically the three-act structure for most movies out there. And we've also talked about Dan Harmon's story circle. And we gave out a couple assignments. Maria texted me back and said, "Hey, cool, Polly. I'm working on the single shot story or the three frame story that we were talking about. So I look forward to seeing that work. Don't forget, drop me a line. I'll leave you my contact information as well. Again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. You can reach me at my email, which is mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com, and you can either get in touch with me for business inquiries, or you can just get in touch with me and you know, keep in touch and show me your work, or if you need some feedback, I'd love to be able to help you out. You can catch my website at www.paulangeli.com. That's spelled www.paulangeli.com. And then, of course, you can find my Instagram handle at Mr. Paul Angeli, or Paul Angeli. You should be able to find me really quickly. And then over here on YouTube as well. That's my contact information. I'm available for you guys. So either reach out at any time. Cool. And then let's go over to the chat. Let me just catch up with the chat real quick, and then we'll get started with what we're talking about today. Cool. So I got Maria, I got Tornado T hanging out, I got Ruby DN Arts. Awesome. So let me ask some questions. I'm going to throw it out there. Maria was sharing with me that she was working on the homework assignments from last Saturday, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Ruby DN Arts, what are you working on now? What are you working on? Some storyboards? Are you working on your own comic? What are you working on right now? Just curious. Keep the chat going, and anything I can help while we're doing the live stream, I'll be happy to help you out. And then Tornado T, had to work late, so I missed that one. I enjoyed watching the replay. So great stuff. Yeah, of course. I really appreciate you taking to watch the replay. You know, so Tornado T, what are you working on right now? I didn't know if you're working on the homework assignment as well, or if you're working on another project. Share it in the chat. Love to see. I know everybody likes to know what each other is working on. So reach out to each other and stuff. So Adam, hey Adam, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you jumping on. So and then Adam, what are you working on? And what is everybody working on? And we talked about the homework assignment from last Saturday. I'll be giving another one today for this particular episode. But yeah, I'd like to see, you know, put it in the chat, everybody. Tell me what you guys are working on. And also, too, if you're friends out there watching this on the replay and you didn't get a chance to hang out with me here on the live stream, drop what you're working on into the comment section of this particular video. I'd love to just see what everybody's working on, and if there's anything I can help you out with, be happy to. So Ruby DN Arts, I'm currently working on storyboards, animatic set to the song Ruthlessness from Epic, the musical. Cool. Well, that's, you know, we're going to be branching off. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week, but as we move into February, there's other aspects of storyboarding that we haven't even talked about. You know, we haven't talked about making commercials, you know, doing advertising. We haven't talked about, you know, not in a super big action sequence or dramatic or a choreographed scene, like if I'm doing something out of a Disney flick, or if I'm doing something with Frozen or something big, Beauty and the Beast, you know, or in the big, you know, something like, excuse me, you know, West Side Story or La La Land or something like that. And we're going to start going and diving into different genres of films and things like that. So we can sort of, like I said, we want to improve. We want to keep getting better every time. You know, I have my own personal goal. Every time that we do one of these live streams, I'm trying to do something different, try to do something better, try to pass something on to you guys. So you're getting some great value. You're putting your precious time into watching Polly here talk away and listening. And I want to make sure that you walk away with some great bits of knowledge and tips that you can put into your own personal work and your own personal journey. So you know, that's something that I'm working on. And then Adam is, I'm doing storyboards for e-learning. I'm looking for more freelance. Cool. Yeah. How's that going? You able to find anything out there? There's a lot to e-learning. I know all big companies have a lot of e-learning tutorials and things like that. How to learn how to run the business or learn the functions or operations or policies in businesses. So that's a great segment of to keep you working and keep money coming in. So cool. And then the HMT's hanging out at lunch break. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you, HMT. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks for joining in. I've got a nice group of people. Very consistent, you guys. It shows your passion for what we're trying to do. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit and get going. Let's talk about how, I'm going to put up my Photoshop screen here. Let me change this to Little Polly. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Where is it? There it goes. Oh, there, little Polly. Okay, cool. And then just want to make sure I'm looking back and forth. Adam's saying freelance has been a little slow, but I'm still pretty busy. Well, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that the gigs keep coming in for you and the projects keep coming in for you, Adam. Yeah, keep busy with whatever you're working on. And I think it's super important. Freelance is tough. Even for me at times. The whole Hollywood scene came to a running halt with the actors strike and the writers strikes, and there's a lot of things going on. And now that all the strikes are sort of behind us and all being ratified and things like that, production's been pretty slow on a lot of standpoints. And where we're seeing a sort of a slow churning process as projects get green lit again. And it just takes a little bit of time. And you can either stay positive about everything and keep pushing forward. And I think it sort of wraps up and sort of why I came up with this concept. Let me go back to why I sort of came up with this sort of like, how do you level up? Okay. And I always think about that with myself. How would I say this? You're always a constant student, okay? And I know I well past my college days, you know what I mean? I have my bachelor's degree, I have my master's degree, I taught college, I did all that stuff, but for all that, this document saying that you went to college and had all these great degrees and stuff, you still need to hone and practice your craft. I am learning constantly all the time. I'm learning from other pros. I'm learning from other people in other industries. You're always the consistent student. I was talking to another professional storyboard artist, and we were just talking, and it's like, you're not really studying to study. It's not like you're going to take a test, but you're exploring. And as artists, we need to push our abilities as hard as we can to level up, get better and better and better. And it's okay. We have, you can go back and look at how to get motivated, or you have artist block. Go watch that other video about artist block. But you always have to challenge yourself. There are so many, we're getting pummeled with so much information on social media, media in general and everything. And you sort of got to focus on yourself. And I sort of look at it, go, what do I need to do to get better as a communicator, as a professional, as a businessman? How do I get better at my craft as a visual storyteller, as a director, as a storyboard artist? How do I get better at my craft? And it's the constant challenging and setting those things. And so we're going to be talking about that today. I'll give you some examples. How do you level up? It's I think of the video game scenario. I just want to get that power pellet and even if I'm just talking old school Pac-Man, trying to eat the fruit at the bottom of the screen or whatever, so I can level up and take out the ghosts. So it's a challenge, and there's so many different things you can do with visual storytelling. Oh my gosh, there's just so much you can do. And so you sort of have to temper yourself and sort of track your progress and do some things. So I'll give you some tips and tricks for that. But the point is, I'm always a constant learner. There's things that excite me. I see new artists work, and I just go, wow, that's amazing work. What can I learn from this artist? What is that person doing right? And I go all over the place with things that inspire me, whether it be from the comics industry or from illustration or other storyboard artists out there, or a new film that I caught the trailer for, or a new director looking at film in a different way, or I'm reading a new book that, wow, that just wowed me, you know. I remember when J.K. Rowling first came out with the Harry Potter books, my wife was teaching, and so she'd bring these books home, and I think it was the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and she would read it to me at night, and I'd just sit there and listen and fall asleep, and I got so interested in these books. I just went crazy, and just like every one of them, I couldn't stop putting, you know, and it inspires you. So use those inspirations to level up your work. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. So Adam's saying, Paul, it's cool with you and the folks in the chat to share their Instagrams. Yeah. Everybody share your Instagram handles on there on the chat. You know, for me, it's pretty simple. Just look it up. Look under. I think I'm Mr_Paul_Angeli on Instagram. I'll throw that back up if you want my Instagram handle. Where is that one? Boom. My Instagram is right here. If you need to reach out to me, go ahead and follow me and let me know. I think I got everybody. If I haven't followed you yet, send me a DM. Say, follow me, Paulie, follow me. Okay, cool. No problem. Instagram.com/MRPAULANGELI is mine. Yeah, drop it into the chat, folks, so you guys can stay in touch with each other as well. It's always good stuff. If you got a website or something like that, put it in the chat too. So, and when you watch these replays, other people will see your handles and stuff like that too. But cool stuff. Okay, let's get into our lesson itself. If there's any other questions, or you have some sort of epiphany while I'm going at this right now, just drop it in the chat. I'd love to be able to help you out. I want this to be, you know, you're putting your precious time into watching this live stream. I want to be able to answer some questions and anything you might need that I can help you out with. Tornado T. So Tornado T wrote in, mine is Tornadot 83. So that's TORNADOT 83, but I don't have anything posted there yet. Well, everybody go follow Tornado T over there, and then you'll be able. He'll get some quick likes on his Instagram once he posts something up. Then Adam said, "Cool. I didn't want to commandeer your channel. Don't worry about it, bud. Don't worry about it. Happy to help out. I think it's always important for everybody to chill out and hang out and stuff." So, okay. So let's talk about leveling up. Let me go back to Little Polly again. And here we are, Little Polly. Okay, so let's talking about, move this over a little bit and get a thicker line than this. Let's talk about leveling up. Okay. So how can we level up our work? What can we do different? How can we improve? You know, and leveling up is that, you know, you sort of have your green bar there, and you're trying to level up what you do. You know, it's getting those levels up for you and improving everything you do, and improve that leveling in terms of who you are as an artist, and having some fun. Hey, I got Bienzian.d is here. Hey, how's it going? Happy, was it? I think your first name is Benson. So Cool. Thanks for jumping back in. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back to the live stream. Happy you can join and hang out with us. So we're currently talking about how do we level up? How do we level up our craft? Okay. We have so many different things that are in our way right now in terms of if we're talking live action storyboarding or whatever we might be talking about. Wherever your realm is, it's just tough out there right now. You know, you have the for those of you in the U.S., you have the economy. You know, you have the strikes that put everybody back. A lot of you know, a lot of folks didn't work for 8 months, and it's been a slow pedal back into greenlit projects. Other things you have company layoffs. Unfortunately, it sounds like Riot Games just let a lot of people go. So I'm sad for those people. Terrific artists out there. We have the economy strikes, company layoffs. It's slow. Just say slow work opportunities are out there. There's a lot of things that get in our way, and we could either let this stuff get in our way or we could level up. Okay. Another big one right now, I'm going to put this as a really big one, is you have AI. Okay. And artificial intelligence, you have that's where a lot of the writer strikes came off, because now you do a bunch of prompts in chat GPT, and you're able to get screenplays, stories, or whatever it is. Right now I know the concept artists are getting hit pretty hard with AI, and that's a whole nother topic we can jump into and talk about and have some conversation about it. But these are all things that are pushing us down. You have all these aspects, pushing you back, and you as an artist, you just want to just make things, be happy, and make those cool projects that you've always wanted to work on, and you just want to be happy and have all these things going for you, and it's pummeling at you, all these different things holding you back, trying to hold you back. So how do you weatherproof yourself? How do you weatherproof yourself? How do you make all these things just fall away from you? What can you do? And I'm going to just share the tips that I use. So how do you get all these things to just sort of crash down so you could win? And you could win with your projects. You could win with your freelance work. How do you win with all this stuff? Okay, so let's turn that off. And let's go back to leveling up. Okay, so let me draw another thing in here. So what are some things we can do? Just real quick, I'm going to go back. Ben's Indeed said, sadly, there's already an AI application specifically for storyboarding. I've read in some articles that some companies are already using it. You're right, there are AI software tools out there that are trying to replace fantastic people out there in our market and in our industry and in the entertainment industry, and that's a real thing. And as we go forward, I know I've been talking to a lot of pros of, what are some of the things going on right now, and those type of things. But a lot of these companies, and I'm not going to stand out there and give my personal opinion on it, and they're going to do what they want to do. I think as me as an artist, I'm going to do what I need to do to stay on the forefront of my creativity and of what I can do. And so that's why we're having this conversation today about leveling up. And I'm always constantly leveling up, because a computer, right now a computer can make an image. Okay, we see it all over Instagram. We see it all over those places right now. You put so many prompts in there, and an image pops out, and they can get some pretty good detail. But it's only a single image, and you have folks like myself and my other professional peers out there. We've dedicated our whole careers in learning everything. Whether we went to school for it, we learned on the job. We worked on films, videos, TV shows, animated films, or whatever it might be, video games, whatever it might be. You put all this time and energy into it. And right now, I think that the hardest hit are your writers, because you have these stories that can be automatically created, or you have a concept artist that you get a bunch of prompts and you get a single picture. There are some storyboard software packages out there right now, or AI that can create the storyboards, but it's still not there yet. I'm not saying it won't be there in the future, but that's where I sit there and I look as myself as an artist, as a creative person, as a director, as being able to create entertaining visuals. I think there's a certain aspect that the human being needs to be a part of it, that artist, and this industry needs fantastic artists like yourselves, and that we can tell original stories. And I think I spoke about it earlier in one of my earlier live streams, where you need to push yourself. You need to push the boundaries. You can't stand still. You have to, you can sit there and have AI create storyboards for us. I see some of these where they're actually creating AI films, but at some point in time, they're all going to be cookie cutter the same thing. How do you make it different? That's where you come into play. That's where I come into play, and that's where that's going to be the difference. So how hard are you going to push yourself to level up, and be ready for that. So when that day comes, you'll be able to tell original stories. There's only so many stories out there, but it's how do we put this together? This is just another technical wave, in terms of of what we can do, with technologies and things like that. But how could you be original in terms of way, you see blockbuster movies where there millions of dollars are being put into movies, and they can't even, as a business, they're not even making back the money on the movie from once everything is paid for, and we need to have creatives out there, whether you're a screenplay writer, a director, a storyboard artist, costume designer, stunt coordinator, actors. We got to push the boundaries in terms of what we're doing to tell original stories that pique audiences' attention and keep their attention, and tell fresh new ways and new stories with always pushing it and pushing the boundaries. So back to the chat a little bit. So, AI for me isn't really the threat. It's the companies utilizing it that is the problem. It's true. These companies have a choice. Right now you see it I always say on the concept side. I see it in a little bit in advertising, because in advertising, if I'm going to do boards and things like that for a commercial, there's only going to be so many boards, maybe 15, 20 boards, compared to a film. You're doing hundreds to thousands of images. I think it's go back to those adages. I think our conversation segue in a little bit, but it's like it's under promise, over deliver as an artist. give something fresh. A computer can't do that, you know. Yeah, it can make beautiful pictures, but it's only going to be what it is, you know. And so Benson says, true, power to the people. Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to me. It's like, how are we going to push this this medium? You know, how are we going to push entertainment? We have so many different things that you're getting entertainment on your phone, you know, your TV. You know, I loved going to the movies, you know, and I still like going to the movies. There's something about being in a movie theater. I can just tell you the vibe. You know, I go back to, you know, watching Die Hard in the movie theater, watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or Jurassic Park when it came out, or the original Tim Burton 1989 Batman, you know, and being in the theater, you had the movieplex at the mall, or the movieplex, and the damn line. I was just having this conversation with my sons, and they're like, "Wow," because they'd never experienced anything like that. Where the line wrapped around the movie theater, I don't know how many times, and you had to wait there for hours as every showing of the film until you finally got your shot, and it was almost impossible to go on opening day to see a movie. That was exciting, going to the movies, you know, and seeing something like that, or when the original Matrix came out, you know, or when the prequel Star Wars movies came, you know, out. And it is, we and I can tell you, you know, even watching Raiders of the Lost Ark at the movie theater, and you know, just the audience, you know, with some of Spielberg's comedy, you know, wrapped up into the film, or whatever it might be, with Indian Marion or whatever. It's like you just felt it, you know, and you have the audience all with you as a community, and either gasping or cheering or whatever it might be, or clapping at the end of a film. It's a fantastic experience, and I miss a lot of those days. You don't see that so much in films, you know, in terms of, you know, the audience participation being in the theater. You don't get the same thing when you're sitting at home on your sofa, and you're getting the same quality of film visuals and sound in your own home, or if you can't do it, you got it on your phone. So but I think the point of all this of today with AI is give something different. You know, you only can type in so many prompts, you know, and you might get some beautiful stuff, but it's only whatever the computer generically is going to do. And the bigger issue I have is the theft of so many fantastic artists and their work, you know, to create the data sets for some of these AI systems. You know, if it was all, if the artists got their payment or their commission off the work that is being put into these AI data sets, you know, be a different story. But that isn't the case. A lot of this stuff is just sifted out there in internet land and things like that. And you have a lot of artists where it's like, you know, not being represented and getting having their work in a sense stolen and put into these things. So a lot of different things there. But let's get back into how do we level up our work. What can you do to keep going? You know, how do you do that? How do you improve? And you know, what are the challenges for us? So let's go back over there. I'm going to go back to Little Paul real quick, and let's talk about how do we level up your work? How do you challenge yourself? You know, how do you improve your work? And there's all different ways we can talk about this, because there's so many different aspects that make a good visual storyteller. As a storyboard artist, there's so many facets to the job. And what are those things that you know, we can do? And you know, some tips. So and some of the things that I do to keep leveling up my work. So one, always be learning. Okay. And with, you know, online learning and online training and those type of things, I think you should always be learning, you know. And it could be learning about art, and then there's all different facets. Maybe you're learning digital painting. Maybe you're, maybe you're going to learn, anatomy. Maybe you're going to be learning a new, maybe a new software. Maybe your challenge to you is to learn Storyboard Pro, which is one of the key programs that storyboard artists use. It might be Blender. It might be the Unreal Engine. But I think that the key of it all is always be learning, no matter what it is. And it might be something simple just like business, because I work as a remote freelance storyboard artist, so you have to be a business person. You need to know business. You need to know how to run your business. So you're constantly always learning and have those goals. So with these actions here, put those into your goals. Is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? Or excuse me, 60 days? Or is it 90 days? What are those goals? And if we sit there and let me grab an image online here. I want to go back and see if I can find some. Do you need to know all those software, or is your workplace, are you willing to, or is this your workplace are willing to train? Let me see, Benson. Do you need to know all these software programs, or is your workplace, or will you train? For me, Benson, what I usually do when it comes to new pieces of software, okay, I used to teach Photoshop in college. I was an instructor at the university, and I taught. And this we're going way back. Let's see, that was back. I want to say 2000, 2001, and I was doing training with that. All the different companies I work for, I would train the software. So like, for example, when vector animation came out, there was a program called Future Waves Future Splash. I had to learn on the job. Got a copy. I think it was free download at the time. Now today it was eventually bought by Macromedia, then bought by, became Flash, and now it's owned by Adobe. But back in the day when I first started, it was just an open source vector animation program. I taught myself, and taught my team. And I had a team I worked at a children's video game company, and so we did all of our animation, all the game elements in this program. And I had a team in California, and I had a team in Hyderabad, India. And so I would work together with all the engineers and all the artists, with this program. So I think when you're looking at programs, yeah, certain companies, if you're working in a studio environment, they do have comprehensive training programs. They want you to be at the latest, greatest tools. Other times, like today, I'm teaching myself Blender. I'm hooking up with other pros out there, and we work together and challenge ourselves to do those things. Everything is at your disposal now with the internet and teaching those things. And that might be something that if you're interested, type it into the chat real quick if you'd like me to go over some of these programs and stuff like that. If you'd like to see more tutorial based how to use these programs, or how to use Photoshop. I know a lot of this work I use Photoshop quite a bit, and I've taught a little couple tricks of layer comps and other things like that, but in animatics. But if we want to go into Storyboard Pro or another free downloadable software, Storyboarder, you know, if you want to go into Painter, there's a lot of different programs. And I plug and play different programs together to work within it. But you know, for me, I'm teaching myself. I knew how to use. One of my younger sons was into building video games for different competitions for his schooling, and so I learned, I believe it was Unity. So I learned all the coding and all that stuff, and then helped him with all the animation. So right now I'm working on Blender and getting used to using Blender, and then I'll probably play around with the Unreal Engine as well. So and have some fun with that. So I think you need to know your tools if you want to be professional. So if I have a director or I have a client contacting me, I got to be ready to rock and roll. So that's just me. But you know, whatever your art style is, if all you have and all you can afford is a piece of paper and a pen, go for it. You know what I mean? Use that as your tool. You know, I don't know how many times I've been storyboarding on a project for a film or something, and I'm drawing on copy paper and napkins. So you know, do that, and that's why I sort of have fun every once in a while. If you check out my Instagram feed, I'll just sit there and I'll just either get I'll use a ballpoint pen. Sometimes I just use these simple round stick Bic pens, and then I'll use my Sharpie. And you know, if you can draw with anything or your pencil or whatever, go for it. You know, it doesn't matter. The software is software. So what? You know, yeah, I get to do all sorts of cool little things with Photoshop or Painter or Storyboard Pro and things like that. But you got to be a good artist. You know what I mean? So you got to know how to paint, draw, all those things. And you're talking about paints and graphite pencils. You know, if you can do that, you can do whatever you want to do. So do you need to know? Oh, that's great to know. So cool. I hope that answers your question. For what it's worth, in freelance live action, I have never been asked to use one program over another. That's true. You know, I would say if you're more in a animation type of scenario or feature, I've seen, you know, certain programs being needed. But other than that, I think if there is no direction, like Adam was saying, if there's no direction of what the client or director wants, use what you have. You know, JPEG's a JPEG. You know, have fun with what you're comfortable with. But to work in animation, you really have to know. So yeah, absolutely agree with you, Adam. Yep, you need to know those programs. It doesn't hurt to have the knowledge. There are tools. And that's all I'm going to say about software. They're tools. You still need to be a good artist, and you still need to be able to know the fundamentals of art and how to be successful as an artist, and the fundamentals, baseline knowledge of perspective, gesture, anatomy, design, those type of things to be successful. And the tool just enhances. It's just a tool. It's like using a hammer. You know, there's different hammers and to do different functions. So, but you still have to be a good carpenter. So, anyway, I know a couple of guys that still work on paper and work constantly. Yeah, there's a lot. There's been so many sessions, Adam. I've sat down and everything is scribbled out on paper. You know, it's just using simple tools, pencils, pens, Sharpies, knock it out. You're trying to tell stories, and it's just a tool, just like these are tools, so are the software. You know, the more software you can, if you're a poor artist, but you know software in and out, you're still a not so hot artist, and you know how to use the tools. The tool is just the tool, you know, but if you hone your skills and you become, learn your basics of your artistic abilities, then the tools will only magnify your skill set even better if you know the fundamentals, you know, and in terms of what you're doing. So I put that as a challenge. But back to little Paul here in our little thing there. But how always be learning. That's the point. Always be learning, you know, and we're all different. You know, so the stuff I'm really working on right now are these three topics, you know. So, you know, I'm always challenging myself on the art, on the artwork all the time. I see artists work, you know, and I just go, wow, that comic artist might be a fantastic inker or something like that. And just I totally get jazzed up, and I'm like, wow, that's great. What can I learn? And how can I do that? And like the latest person that caught my attention in terms of artwork and that type of stuff is Sean Gordon Murphy. Man, dude's been around for a while, and besides, he has that style that I like, the 1960s, 1970s sort of car. He has his little Datsun, that he's been drawing, and he goes off to draw. His cars are fantastic. His inking ability is so cool, and it's like, I just think he's very cinematic in terms of what he draws. If you haven't seen any of his books, I know he's done a lot of the Elseworld type of Batman books and stuff with Harley Quinn and stuff on the DC side, and he just branched off and did a Kickstarter type of scenario, and is doing Zorro right now. So pretty cool. I love his work. So it's like I sit there and I challenge myself. Well, what can I learn from that? And like I said, software. I'm busy learning Blender right now. And three, I'm always enhancing my business skills. How can I get out there? How can I keep my current list of clients happy? How do I build that business, and how do I do that? So I think there's a lot of things there for you. So as we talk about leveling up, always be learning, always be constantly challenging yourself. And I really appreciate you good friends out there jumping onto these live streams, because it helps helps to challenge me. I'm learning while using technologies I never used before. I think it's like with the technology today, you could have your own, in a sense, your own TV station. Where when I started off in the late 80s, there was no internet yet, or anything like that, and sort of grew up going through all those processes of knowing HTML coding and all that stuff, and having a dial-up modem, and all this crazy stuff that we and things that would take me countless hours, in the what do you call it, my computer lab and stuff like that, learning how to do. And I remember one time I was a lab tech at my university, and I would work for free. And the only reason why I was a lab tech and worked for free is so I could use all the computers. There were, I think, 30 computers, 30 computers in the room. And I remember I was working, I just had learned Swivel 3D, and this is a long time ago. And I had all these 30 computers with rendering a certain how many seconds of my animation. And I would work for the lab, so I'd be teaching people how to use the programs and all that stuff in the lab, and as a lab monitor type of thing, keep the lab open so people could do their projects and stuff. And I'd have 30 different computers running. After everybody went home, I had access to their 24/7 then, and keys and codes to the building. So I would have all these computers rendering just these so many seconds of a fly through 3D environment. And then I had to go and I had to bring all those bits at the time, and then have them captured on SVHS video, and then edit them all together so you could put the whole damn sequence together. It was crazy. A whole render farm for yourself. I got some stories to tell you when it comes to the technology and how far we've come. I remember I did my first digital illustration in Photoshop of at the time it was of Ricky Henderson, the outfielder for the Oakland A's, and I had all this. I did this whole collage thing, and at the time you had to use a piece of software that broke down your file. I don't know how many floppy disks. It was something like 10 floppy disks that you had to put into the computer just to get all the bits of all the parts of that image, just to come up with one image. And it was the first time I ever got to print on a color printer. And you're like, wow, today we take it all for granted, but you had to do what you had to do. So sharing some of those stories from my background. But now it's like, if I would have known today in 2024 what I could have done back in the day, you're like, dang, that would have been so sweet. So always be learning, and I'm always challenging myself. I have, we were talking about, blocking and those goals, how do you schedule your week and those things. Go back to that other earlier video and stuff if you want to go and recapture some of that. But anyway, I think that's always have those goals, have those learning goals for yourself. Let's continue on and keep dropping stuff in the chat, folks. If as you're following along or you want to add to the conversation, I'm totally open. It's cool. Okay. So what else as we talk about leveling up? What's another big area of leveling up? Okay, and I'm going to say number 2. One is to learn the basics of drawing, but I think you need to practice. I think it's super important that you have a routine. Drawing routine. And I don't care if it's a drawing or sketching routine, whatever you want to call it. And I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours. Is it, or if it's, in a perfect world, it would be great if you drew daily. Okay? And even if it was, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, I have a routine that I draw every day. And I just draw for fun. I'm not drawing for a project. I'm not drawing for everything, because I think it's like, besides keeping yourself healthy and working out and eating right and keeping your mental health together, I think it's super important that you practice drawing each and every day. I use my sketchbook pretty much every day. I draw on copy paper like a madman, and most of the stuff is just sketches. I'm just practicing, and I think you need that hand-eye coordination. I think you need to practice what you've been learning, right? So if you're learning gesture, you're learning contrast or perspective or whatever you're learning, and using that first way to get level up, I think you need to hone those skills in by continuing to practice and practice and practice. And I can't stress that enough. This is a high art job, and if you're up against a computer AI, you better be honing in and working on those skill sets. And I think it's just because when I'm sitting there drawing, and I'll give you an example. I'm sitting there with the director. I got the shooting script. I've read the script, and we've talked about this before. Read the script so many different times. I'm sitting there. I finally get a chance to sit down with the director and start to go, okay, Polly, this is what we're working on, and this is where I want to go with this. And you're using all that reference from film knowledge, film language, you're drawing. I got to be able to just draw it. I'm not going to sit there and have to go get a bunch of reference. I need to be able to draw that. If I have a horse, I have a horse. I have a car, I have a car. Yeah, sure, later I can go back and I need a Ford F-150, 1989 truck or whatever. You can get that reference later, but you need to be able to draw these forms, get these shots, know your film language, know those things. So I'm always constantly practicing all the time and stuff, so I can sit down and have a really good dynamic conversation, because like I said, time is money, and Adam can probably attest to that too. You need to be able to just sit down and rip these things out. You don't have time to think about it. That's where all the practice is. It's like learning a martial art, right? You're practicing all your forms, your katas, and depending on what style of martial arts you're doing. And the point is when you go and you're in whether if you're in a competition type of fighting scenario or out there fighting, you just don't get this, it doesn't work that way where you're like Robert Downey Jr., RDJ in the Sherlock Holmes movie, and everything is pre-planned, and I'm going to do all these different moves, and then I'm going to beat the bad guy up. No, you sort of got to be ready to go and go to it. And the same thing goes with your artwork too. So that's where that constant practice and constant sketching helps you out, helps you get better. And and also too, we talked about it before, it also shows your journey too. You keep all these sketchbooks. That was something I was going to pop up real quick. Let me see if I can find that real quick for you, friends. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to my, I always laugh when I look at my Instagram feed. Let me see if I can grab, I'm going to go like to the beginning. And this, I think, maybe this was, don't remember when I started this Instagram. Trying to go back to the very beginning. Let's see. Just grab an image. So that's where the practice and everything pops up. So I'm going to just grab it, and it can show us sort of show you. Let me turn this off a little bit here. Let me just see how this looks if I can pop this on here. Okay, there's a more of a, what is this? This is 2023. Okay, so we can sort of get the idea there. Okay, and then let me go back further on my Instagram. Just give me a second. Be patient with me. You know, you sit there and you look at your Instagram feed and you're like, holy smoke, how long have I been doing this? So many drawings, holy smoke. Give me a second, I'm just trying to pull it up. Come on, Instagram, work with me. Now it's in there cycling. Okay. There it goes. Okay, it has to load. Yeah, hang tight, friends. I'll go back to my my Photoshop screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. And just what I'm doing right now is I'm going back on my Instagram feed to going to like the beginning when I first posted the very first drawing. And I think when you're drawing all the time and you're capturing these things, I think it's crazy how many drawings I've done. I think I'm making myself dizzy just looking at it. Ay, ay, ay. Go back to Photoshop. Give me a second here. I'm almost done. Come on, let me go back to the beginning, guys. If I can't get back to the beginning, I'll just grab the earliest one I can. Because I used to just do pencil work, and then this might take longer than I need. I wish there was an easier way to do this. Everything is chronological. Come on, Paul, let's go. I remember sitting on my kitchen table doing so many of these drawings that I'm going through them all. So I'm trying to check the dates on it too. There we go. And just your styles change and everything, so. See if we can find just one more that's older, and I'll show you what I've been busy doing while we're doing that. So yeah, that's 2018. Okay, so we got some distance there. Almost there, friends. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, how much older it goes. Yeah, because I remember I started this up. Yeah, I've got some stuff here. Besides big fish. I'll put in a funny picture in there too. Hold on for a second. Okay, here, let's go like this. Okay, so when I go back, okay, so let me change the perspective here. Cool. Okay, cool. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I appreciate you hanging out while I was thumbing through my images there. Make sure everything looks good. Take a sip of my drink. So when I'm looking back, and we were talking about always constantly learning and drawing all the time. So I started Insta. Let me see, my very first picture on Insta. Let's see, this is July 18th, 2018. Let me see here. This is one of my first pictures I put up on Instagram. I'm a big fly fishing guy. Love fly fishing, and this is one of my record brown trout I caught at one of my local streams over here. So that was the first time. Oops, a little bit. Just caught this massive brown trout. Love that thing. Great picture. But I did this this challenge, and this was a sketchbook challenge back in 2018. See, we're in 2024 now, so quite a few years ago. And I remember the goal of this particular challenge was to fill up a whole sketchbook, and every day you had prompts. So this one was just doing whatever, I forgot what the style was, but we divided the page up. So I did all sorts of horror movies and things like that. So you have Freddy Krueger, Gremlins, Puppet Master, Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness, Halloween, Chucky, Pinhead, Linda Blair and The Exorcist, those type of things. So, those are some of the early drawings. This is another one. I did a lot of cartooning. I did Inktober back in 2018. So this was sort of a, more of a cartoony style that I had back, and I did a whole series within these images. So it's that constant practicing and drawing each and every day and honing in your skill sets. What else do I have? This is another early storyboard. I had crazy creatures I was drawing. I was just getting used to drawing on this Cintiq at the time, and not just drawing on paper all the time. So you can sort of get the idea. When was this one? This was 2019. So some images there. And thanks, Tornado T. Tornado T said, "This is really neat, Paul." Yep, you got it. And then you look at something like this is a little bit more. This is 2023. You sit there and you get better and better and better. Put in that constant practice. And I do these type of drawings just to put the practice in. What else do I have in here? Yeah, here's another one. This is Miss Marvel, 2022. Kamala Khan, the actress playing her, and just honestly, I was just using a number 2 pencil, so it doesn't really matter the element. It's like, do you learn how to draw, learn how to shade, those type of things in terms of the drawings that you're doing. And then I sit there and I look at the stuff I'm doing today. Let me go back and throw another image on there real quick. Let me go back to Instagram. Go back to now. Wait for this thing to refresh real quick. See if I have any of the boards and stuff in here. When you look at your pencil work that you do, here's some images there, and just doing your pencils and stuff and getting that practice in. See if there's one more, but on the digital side. Here's an advertising board. So you get the idea of, you put in the practice, and you draw every day, and you get better at everything you're doing in terms of what you're doing there. And you can have fun with what you're doing. Let's see, I did this one for like Batman Day or whatever. I think I was a bit bigger fan of Catwoman than Batman. So there's all different types of work. So, and then my point is that you start off somewhere, and when you're drawing and you're inspiring yourself, you can inspire yourself with your work, and you get better, and you can go back in time. That's where something like Instagram and those type of mechanisms, having those studies, so you can go back, or having your sketchbooks, and that's what makes it fun, is that you can go back in time and sort of say, this is how I was drawing back then, and this is how I'm drawing back now, and it helps to inspire you and keep you going, keep your learning journey happening, and you see how much you've leveled up in terms of your own personal work, and this is nothing's here. I'm not sharing anything that I've done professionally. This is all just my own personal stuff that I do to hone in, and to keep it fresh and keep it real. in terms of what you're doing. So let's go back to little Paul again. And continue chatting to give some more bullet points. Oh shoot, was I sharing this the whole time? I don't remember. I think was I going back and forth? I don't remember. So anyways, to share this, I hope everybody got to see the artwork. Let me know in the chat. If not, I'll throw it back up again. Hope I wasn't on Big Paul the whole time. Maria's been awesome at letting me know, and if I don't have the right thing up, I'll quickly cycle through all those real quick. So the Batman, something like this. I'll just go through them. So it's always good to review your work and sort of what you were sketching and having fun with and stuff. So you're always constantly learning and challenging yourself. You know, so you come a long way, you know, and you see that. Cool. Let's get this turned off. Bring this back up again. Okay, so again, we talked about always be learning, always have those goals set for yourself. And well, I'm glad, yeah, just check out my Instagram account if you want to go through that artwork. And I have different artwork on my website too. So, and I have more artwork I'll be dumping shortly. So if you want to see that tornado tee, have some fun with that. Yeah, but I think it's, so always be learning, practice your drawing, have a routine, work, whether, you know, maybe you can only draw 3 days a week or 4 days a week. Block yourself that time to go work on that sketchbook or whatever it might be. And, you know, put that time in. I think that will help you to level up your work, you know, in terms of what you're doing and keep you going. I think another thing too is to keep yourself leveling up. There's one thing that we waste a lot of time, or some people do, you know, just limit yourself too. So let's say you're drawing all the time, and there's hey, listen, there's fantastic artists out there. I was just talking about Sean Gordon Murphy. You know, you got J. Scott Campbell drawing women. You have the latest artist or whoever you're looking at, and their work is amazing. You know, and you're always getting into that. Well, you know, my work isn't so good, and you know, maybe I'm having a bad drawing day. I think. You know, I think it's limit how much you're consuming. You know, in a certain sense, is focus on you. You know, so when you're talking about all the artwork, and we're talking about these things, I think it's really important is focus on you. When you're studying art and you're practicing your drawing, don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. Be you. And what I mean by that is there is so much information out there, and we were just talking about AI, and you know, you see these beautiful drawings. They're not even real. You're comparing yourself to an imaginary computer program, you know, or whatever it is, or those renders. Don't compare yourself to others. uh, don't consume so much social media. I'm gonna get that on there. Don't consume so much, because that we're talking about your mental health, and in terms of what you're doing. Listen, we were joking around when I first started this channel. Hey, listen, some of these images, if you can draw a little character, in your storyboard or whatever, sometimes those frames are so simple in terms of our thumbnails and what we're doing. And I think, we sit there and we see these fancy artists doing these illustrations, or you're looking at an art of book and you're like, oh my gosh, that artist is so fantastic. But most of the time, it's just line drawings. It might have a little bit of value or contrast on the shot. That's it, you know. And we have this false perspective of what it is. So instead of, I use social media, and I use it as a diary in a sense. And if you look at my Instagram feed and you go back from the beginning, the only reason why I started Instagram was to share some big fish photos. I had a friend, my son was really young at the time. I started teaching him fly fishing when he was 9, and now he's a big college man. And it's like he we used it just to share fish pictures, and I started posting some stuff. It was difficult. I didn't know how to post all that stuff yet or anything, but I use it as a tool. Or we were talking about tools earlier. I use it as a tool to sort of keep myself motivated, keep myself producing fresh, original work. I tend not to see a lot of people. There's certain things that catch my eye, and I sort of save it, or I do a screenshot and I say, well, I'm going to go look up that artist later, or whatever it might be. But if you're sitting there absorbing, consuming all this media, it puts a false perspective into what you think it should be. And I think Benson said it right here. Everybody's different, and everybody has a different style. And when it comes to art, everybody, art is in the love of art is in the eye of the beholder. I might see a statue or a famous painting that I love, and you might not like it. We're all different, and the same thing goes with directors or production managers, or advertising agencies. They're looking at all these different artists, and that's why you have to be unique, and that's what's going to differentiate yourself from AI and those type of things. Is that the work you create is just different, and be you. That's why I always challenge you friends out there. So when you're working on these projects, or I'm doing a storyboarding or something like that, you're going to go and you're going to draw, and you can sort of base it off what I'm drawing, but make it your own. Do you, don't do Polly, do you. I'm just trying to give you the steps and inspiration to get this stuff going on, and that you can learn from. But go do your style. If your style is comic style, do your style. If your style is something like Adventure Time, and go do that. Your style is got a Latin flavor to your style, do it. Go be original. Have some fun with it. I have certain categories of the way I do my artwork, because somebody asked me a while ago, do you like doing animation, or do you like doing live action realistic drawings? And I go all around, and I just try to hone in those skills. But I think it's super important, friends, is be you. I can't stress that enough. Be you. Be creative in your way. Draw it in your style. And there's so many different artists out there. And if you're comparing all the time, all you're going to do is you're going to create a lot of noise in your head. And don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't waste your time. Because it's so subjective too, of what we think good artwork is. Sionis, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream, by the way. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. I got back into drawing last January after a 2 or 3 year break. I've only been practicing and studying, mainly focused on learning gesture drawing and faces and heads. Cool. That's important stuff to know, is the gesture drawing. It's what makes dynamic images. Siona says, I don't know how to stop practicing and actually start creating. I haven't done anything fun or for myself yet. I've had this idea for a character for a couple months, but I can't get myself to start working on it. Okay. This would be we talked about this, I think last week in one of the live streams. I think, we can constantly, let me go to the big poll while I'm talking to you. Boop, there we go. Okay, so you have to be balanced. Think of it like a balanced diet, right? We want to eat our proteins, or if you eat meat, or you eat your vegetables and your starches, and drink your water, and how many, just nutrition. Let's talk about like that. Okay, so you're eating all the basic primary food groups. You're gonna have, you work out, you do, cardio, you work out with the weights, you feel good, and you have a balanced system. One of the things that I would challenge you, Sionis, is that don't be the constant learner. And how do you break the constant learner programming in your head, where you're just, I got to learn more. I got to know this. I got to know this piece of software. I got to know that. I'm just telling you, there's times I've just sat down with a director and I got a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen and I'm writing on a napkin and drawing storyboards on a napkin. It's been like that in the past. Or, I have a legal pad and I'm sitting there doing it. I don't have a fancy iPad and all this stuff. I didn't have it at the time, I remember, I think I've spoken about it, where I was supposed to go out on a hot date with my girlfriend, who's been my wife now for 30 plus years. And I remember the CEO of the company coming in and saying, Paul, I need you. And I'm like, what? Got a date, man. And he's all, I got a project for you. I need you to stay here at the studio. I need you to bust out, storyboards for a possible Jackie Chan project. I'm like, and he's all, I'll pay for your date whenever you guys go out next, but I need you, and we're gonna fly to LA tomorrow. And so how do you get those things done? And if you're in the constant learning all the time, you need to be able to get projects done. And I would challenge you to create your own self project. How create something. If you have a character that you design, I don't care if it's a simple comic strip, a little zine or something like that, or a little booklet or something. Create something that's for you. Don't worry about making money with it and stuff. You have the internet with social media now, and you can have just a Instagram channel with your little cartoons of the day and have some stuff. Start making something for yourself, and I challenge you to start a personal project. And that might be a comic strip, a little animated sequence, something that you hold yourself accountable to put out there. So this artwork doesn't sit in piles of sketchbooks and learning and taking another class or whatever it might be. I forgot what Jake Parker. What did he come up with? Finished, not perfect. Okay, I think that's what it look. He had a little video up, and Jake Parker's an illustrator, comic book artist, and it was called, I think it was called Finished, Not Perfect, because we're always in this pursuit of the perfect image and the perfect drawing. I've done the Mona Lisa, I've done the Michelangelo painting, those type of things, and I would challenge you with some sort of project, and just get it done. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. As long as you started creating things for yourself, and if you have this fun little character, and just give yourself a deadline. Say, okay, and by the end of February, I'm going to have this little comic done. I'm going to spend a little bit of time each day, and I'm going to design my character. I'm going to design the friends that are around, the environment, and the world that character lives in, and I'm going to put together a simple story. Go watch our last video. We talked about storytelling and the basic 3-act structure, or the Dan Harmon story circle, and put yourself with a little personal project, or it might not be a comic or a visual story. Maybe it's just a painting or just a drawing that's yours. You didn't sit there and do it in class, or a YouTube video that you're following. Just create to create, but do a project. So I hope that helps you, and I really appreciate you joining this stream. And any other questions, shoot it to me over, DM me over on Instagram, and be happy to help you. And then Tornado T said, I've heard the saying that you are your own first customer to please. Yeah, just I do stuff for myself, I have paintings I've done or drawings I've done, and while we're sharing here, just to give you an example, let me see if I want to pull this off my wall. Here, I'll give you an example. Every time, I don't know if you can see this, but I had this on my wall. Every time my youngest son has a birthday, I draw him a illustration for his, and then he was super into Stranger Things. So let me see if I can get this on the camera or whatever, and I'll sort of show you what it looks like. So one of his birthdays, he was in the Stranger Things. So I did a whole ink drawing of, this is just the pencil that I created for him, but I did a whole Stranger Things. He was super into Stranger Things. So over in his room, I guess sits his birthday, I call it my birthday card Hall of Fame. And, I think the last one I did was all, last year it was Miss Peregrine's School, so the Tim Burton movie and stuff. So that's something I do each and every year for both my sons, and it's just something we do together. They do their artwork, and we don't buy greeting cards, so it's something I do, and it's always a secret that I do for them each and every year. So if you're in his room, he has every year. And every year is stuff that he's into, and I do a whole, and it's almost like a comic. It's a whole big comic page, and stuff. So he has it all in his room. So it's just something I do. But it's like, do those projects for you and have fun. And I agree with Benson. Do things for yourself. Make you feel good. Make your head feel good. And there's one thing for studying. But if you're studying all the time and not getting anything done, it's just clouding up your head. You got to get something done. And I think, and if you can't do that, you're gonna put some roadblocks in your way to be a professional artist, because we can't fall in love with these things that we're creating. A lot of the times, if I'm working on a film, it's like sometimes these films get canceled. That work goes into, it's gone. You never can show it. It's never going to be seen. The project got canceled. I was talking about the Jackie Chan project. This was back in like 1995 or whatever, and I worked on that project, and the project ended up, they couldn't get the license for the film from Golden Harvest Communications at the time, and canceled the project. Never became an interactive game, and never became anything. Animated tune, and never became anything. And you worked so hard to work on something like that, and all that work just went into evaporation. And then on top of it, if you're working on a project, you can't promote that project because you're all under NDA, and you can't let anything out until the film eventually comes out. And then at the end, you don't own that artwork. It is all owned by the studio or whoever you're working for. So, but get those projects done, and share that information. Put yourself accountable to something. Maybe it might just be a post, and that's why something like Instagram, I try to post every day. I try to post a short up on my YouTube channel. I'm doing it. I'm in the process every day, and you're doing it, and then sometimes everything's working great. And even if it's a, excuse my language, it's a crappy drawing, I'll still put it up. Even if it's not perfect, I'm not here for perfection. I'm here for consistency, and that I can produce results quickly, because, it's that finished but not perfect. And I like Jake Parker's attitude about it. It's like, you need to get the work done. If you let your perfectionism get into your work or cloud you, you're never going to get anything done. You're going to be in the constant cycle of trying to get better, or comparing yourself or whatever. And sometimes it doesn't matter. You're worried about a certain aspect of your drawing, and the person who's hired you doesn't care about that. They want to see the project done. They want to get the boards to get the gist of where you're going with it and stuff. So it makes it pretty interesting. But control yourself, but have fun. But I challenge you, stay honest. Go do a project for yourself. Have some fun, and there's some different attributes there to help you. Okay, cool. Any questions? Anybody got anything? Okay, so again, we talked about leveling up. Always be learning, whatever those goals are, and put those learning goals into goals. We talked about practice drawing, having a routine. Pick out a routine. Keep yourself going. 3, focus on you. Don't compare yourself to other people. Be you. Be original. That's what's going to separate you from AI and those type of things, is that you're you, and we can't replace you. And you're special, and your artwork is special, and it has a place. And just find that place that you can excel in terms of what you're working on. And don't consume so much social media. And especially, I'm going to put this over here too. I'm running out of space on this one. Go to the next page. And I think right here, don't compare yourself. Be you. I can't stress that enough. I think this is another cool little aspect to help you to level up your craft. Okay, and this is a little interesting one. And I know I think it was number 4 we're on. So number 4, I was going to challenge, and I challenged myself like that. And I like this quote. I forgot where I heard this. Learn as if you were to teach someone. And what I mean by that, and it's sort of a cool little thing. So learn as if you were to teach. I think what makes this sort of interesting and a good challenge to help you level up your game is, when you're learning something, learn. You obviously, when you're in school or something like that, you're learning, and you have to do a group project or a group presentation or something like that. And I think it's a fun challenge, is to grab a topic. Maybe you're learning. Sionis was talking about learning gesture. Maybe you're practicing gesture, and when you're learning how to do gesture drawings, learn it so you can be able to teach it. And that's where true mastery comes into play, is that when you can go teach somebody else and give them skill sets and value based on your simple thing you know how to do. Maybe you can draw the best fruit basket, or the best, maybe you're the pro at drawing cars, and you can draw any car type, whatever it is, and type of thing, but you're the best at it. And when you're learning how to do those things, and I think that's where true mastery comes into play, is that you can teach others what you do. And I think it's a fun little challenge, and I would stress that is you're trying to level up your game. Is like, so when you're learning something, learn in the process of being able to teach somebody else, whether it be simple as you teaching your kids, your friends, your peers, your coworkers, any whoever it might be, and when you're learning in the back of your head, like, if I gave you a challenge or a homework assignment and I said, hey, listen, I want you to learn 1 point perspective, but I want you to learn to the point where you can teach another person 1 point perspective. That makes puts a little bit more skin in the game, in your learning journey, in terms of what you're working on and how you can improve what you're doing in terms of leveling up your skill sets, is when you have the ability to teach others. It's like the old ship captain. You had a novitiate, you had a mate, and then you had the captain of the ship, right? And it was sort of funny that I'm even mentioning that, because I was drawing earlier today. Let me see if I have that on there. I was doing some sketches, and I think put this here. Let me throw another layer on there real quick. And I think it's super important. Just by chance, I was going to do a pirate thing, and I think it's important to be able to teach others in terms of what you're doing, or get those projects done that we're talking about. So if I'm like, have my pirate ship. Just quickly sketching this out. I think it's important that when you're learning something, you're sort of the novitiate learning, and then once you have those skill sets, you become the mate, or whether you're the first mate of the ship. And then once you have mastery, then you're the captain. Of your ship. And so I think that's important in terms of your journey there. And we're talking about mastering learning. And so you have those steps to help yourself as we're sort of hanging out, drawing together. And so when I'm drawing, it's like, and that's where the practice and everything pays off, is you should be able to just knock the stuff out. I don't know if they're ever going to make another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That'd be fun to work on. I'd dig that. I thought that Johnny Depp was done making pirate movies. I guess I was a little too late to the game. Of our pirate ship. So again, we talked about going from a novitiate to a mate to the captain, and the whole military structure. So if the captain issues with the captain died, the first mate could take over, and everybody knew the roles. But back to the learning and training in terms of what we're talking about. It's putting in the practice, but the practice for the intent of possibly being the teacher in terms of what you're doing there. So that would be sort of fun and fun to do. I'm going to leave it open a little bit. How do you guys level up? There's still quite a few of you on the live stream. So what do you do to challenge yourself to level up? I'll leave it on the chat. I'm going to take a sip of my drink here, but what are you doing to level up your game? How do you get better at what you're doing? Just curious. Have you ever tried any of these tools we've spoken about today during the live stream? Just curious. Well, I'm waiting for a response here. I'll draw my captain. Take classes. Okay, yeah. No, I think it's important to take classes. I always think so. And what I'm trying to do with this channel is see where we can kick it up a notch and kick it up to another level to give you some more detailed, quicker information. Paxonite, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I copy other people's drawing process. That's a good one. That's a good one. Tornado T says, I'm practicing as much as I can, and I'm learning new software. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, practice as much as you can and stuff. I agree with the classes. Take a class. I think it's super important to always to be constantly learning. I take classes too, and so if I don't have the time to teach myself something, I'll go and I'll quickly just take a quick class, whether it be an online course or a program. Just to get to what I need and rock and roll with it, you know. Yeah, especially like software and stuff like that. If I can just quickly go and either online or something quickly, I'll do it like that. You just always constantly learning all the time. Let's see, I watch people draw stuff, but can't break down stuff that well. So Paxonite, another thing, so when you're learning to watch other people draw, you're watching their processes, watch their shape language. Think of it in terms of shapes. That might help you in terms of what you're doing, you know, to help break it down. because everything starts with shape and form, and then goes from there. And that don't know if that'll help you out. And think about what are they trying to do. Then Adam says, I've been studying Alex Toth comics, a reverse storyboarding method. No, that's a great. Toth is so awesome in terms of the way he draws and the way he constructed. It was so simple. You sit there and go, gosh, man, this guy's created. He worked on Zorro. He worked on so many different things, and just amazing work. In terms of what he has done. Pax Knight says, I'm trying to learn gestures using a book named Forced Drawing. I don't know will help me in making my drawings have more flow. Yeah, well, that's a topic we might do at one of our live streams, is about gesture drawing and having the dynamic poses. I think that's what makes those images work well when you're drawing, is just having a dynamic pose in terms of what you're doing. Just having fun sketching around here. When you're drawing a shot or whatever. So cool. Learning gesture. What is gesture? People give me different answers and it confuses me a lot. How do I approach it? I think of gesture as just the body and the body language. When you're doing a storyboard, and this goes for anything, comics or whatever, using foreshortening or whatever, gesture is it's where's the weight of the drawing, over exaggerating the character or whatever it might be. Usually you have a line of action, and then you're drawing your character around that. But it's like you think about a dynamic pose. Let me shrink this down a little bit. Okay, I had a drawing here I did of a woman that I was doing here, and to think about it, it's having that line. We can push it, so it's having a dynamic line to terms of what you're doing. So if I have a line here and I'm thinking of this character, let me show. We want to have some gesture, and this is great. I remember, I know I've talked about it many times. I liked going to. I lived in California pretty much all my life, and I came out to the East Coast about 13 years ago. And back in California, anytime I got to go to the LA area, I would have some fun. And at the time, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Steven Silver. He's a fantastic character designer. He had a studio down in Los Angeles, and he would host these live live art sessions where we'd bring in a model. We'd practice our gesture drawing from a live model. It's hard when you're drawing. I see a lot of YouTube folks, they just draw off of timers, and they're of a single photograph. It's interesting when you're drawing a human figure. And I remember I would, if I was doing business in LA or whatever, I'd hook up with Steven down there, and he would have the models come into his studio. And I think the very first time I got in there, Harley Quinn was the big thing, and so the model dressed up as Harley Quinn, and we were just doing gesture drawings. And the gesture, just the flow of the line and the action line. Where's the weight on the body, and how do you make an interesting character? So if I'm giving this example here, and that was a lot of fun. And I encourage you artists out there, if you ever get a chance to get to do live drawing sessions. I know they do, I think they do it over at Lightbox and stuff. But let me grab my black here. And it's sort of like what I'm trying to do here is I have my character. I'll have my female's head here. I sort of, just again, how about I do it like this? Let me grab that red line, and we can sort of move that gesture line there. Let's tone that down a little bit so we have it. And then I'm going to draw my character on top of it. And it might be something like this, where it's like this is her back. And you sort of get the idea of I'm drawing this character, and there's my line of action. I hope that helps you out a little bit, Paxonite. Of the line of action, and sort of you have this flowing character, and then you can go and we're just having fun drawing this character. You sort of get the idea of how we're drawing that character. We have the flow of action. Of what we're doing. So hope that helps out. Just one last question. How much do I need to put in these drawings? My colleagues say try drawing stick figures first. Yeah, good question. Very good question. So when you're drawing, let's just say you're drawing a storyboard. I got some empty frames here. So let me throw a layer on. and go back, Paxonite, go back and watch some of my I think it was one of my very first live streams. Go back and check it out real quick. And we're talking about, just drawing. If you can draw, there's a couple different ways. First way, we'll just go way one, okay? When you're drawing way one, if you can draw a stick figure, you're fine. You got your head, you got your body, and put some dynamic pose in this. Just if you can draw a stick figure, you'll be fine, and do that. Another little cheat too is to create a little character, almost like a starfish type of character, and where you sort of have the character here. You can correct those. Like a character like that or something. Either it's using that type of format, or that type of shape. If you can draw these simple things, you can storyboard. You know what I mean? You don't need. I know you sit there and you look at my work and you go, wow, how do I do that? But if you can draw this, you can storyboard. You don't need. I'm being paid professionally to do these drawings, but it's more for me when I'm doing professional work and I'm drawing. It's there's certain levels, and it depends on what the director or the studio is looking for, or what level. Sometimes you're on, you're on model, and you need to know that, SpongeBob Square. I don't. But I don't know how SpongeBob. I have to go look at SpongeBob SquarePants. But it's like you have to stay on model on his character. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to stay on model. Other times you just if you can draw these simple shapes, you can tell a whole story. You don't need to sit there and have, some fancy drawing like I have here, where I'm sitting there going, okay, so I have a female's eye. Or it's a complicated shot or something. You don't need to do all. Oops. You don't need all that complicated drawing. You can keep it simple, And I always, when I'm teaching this type of stuff, it's like keep your images simple, because you're more worried about composition and staging. Let's just say I have a character in the foreground. You want those shapes to stay simple, in terms of, say this character is here and that character is talking to another character. Over here, and this is where your gesture and stuff like that. Comes into play. it's simple in terms of what you're doing. Do backgrounds have gestures? It could, but most of the time when you're talking about gesture drawing, it's going to be your characters. They're going to be are going to have gestures into it. Your background is there as an element to set up for an establishing shot. If you're talking storyboarding, yeah, there if the toaster, the brave little toaster, has human qualities, yeah, you're going to put some gesture in that toaster. Not so much the backgrounds, it's going to be the objects. Say the magic carpet from Aladdin. He's excited. That magic carpet is going to have some excitement to it, or whatever it might be. So I hope that gives you some clarity on that. So okay, well, cool. Any other questions? I'll leave it open for a couple of seconds more. It's almost 2 in the morning for me, and I'm gonna call it a night. But I hope that this is giving you some help on how to level up your work in terms of what you're doing, so you can improve your craft and keep growing all the time. Let's see what else I have there. So you too can have cool drawings that you can do at different levels and stuff like that. So let's see. Of course. Okay. So Pax Night, do back. We did that. Okay. Understood. Thank you. Of course, Maria. Hey, Maria. Don't forget to share with me what you're working on from that homework assignment. And I'm not going to do a homework assignment on this one because a lot of people are still working on their homework assignments. But I'd love to see it. Please share with me on, over on Instagram. I'd love to be able to see your work and sort of be able to celebrate your work. And if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. Paxonite, how do you approach backgrounds with simple lines? It all depends on the shot, and I think go back and watch my earlier live streams on shot composition, camera movement and angles. I think that'll help you out quite a bit. And with that, it depends. Now, if the character or the focus of an establishing shot, sure, we want to have a little bit of detail, because the way I'm going to draw Las Vegas is going to be different than I draw the Smoky Mountains. Is going to be different than I draw, London Bridge or Trafalgar Square or something like that, or a space, or Middle Earth. I'm going to draw it all differently, and that's sort of the focus. And then once you establish that shot, then you can go off into your characters and whatever they're doing. So I hope that helps. The simpler you approach this stuff, if you're trying to do a complicated drawing, it just gets messy, and you want clarity in your image, so it's clear, foreground, middle ground, background, where your characters. There's a lot to it when you're storyboarding, and the same thing with comic artists too as well. Sometimes you don't need any background at all. You need the action going on, so there's times to use that and times not. Paper Bagger, welcome back. I'm glad you're able to hang out and on the chat. So unrelated, you use only Photoshop, right? Or Storyboard Pro? I do. I use it all. I was just asked this question by some other pros earlier today. So I use Storyboard Pro. I use Photoshop. I use Painter. Sometimes I played around with Storyboarder. I'm learning Blender right now. I do a lot of editing too, because I've done a lot of my own films and things like that, and music videos and stuff, so I know how to edit and all that. So I like DaVinci Resolve for certain things on that editing software. I like Premiere for other things. I know a lot of tools, and I started using Photoshop when it first came out in the late 80s. I think I got to meet one of the Knoll brothers, the one that went on to work at Industrial Lights and Magic. I went to one of his talks. He had just done the morphing of the Exxon gas station pump into the Tiger, or the Tiger into the Exxon pump. I forgot which way it went, but it was a long time ago. But he was one of the originators of Photoshop. So learned that long time ago. But I'll use a variety of tools, and it doesn't matter about the tool. It's about your skill sets. And from there, it's use the right tool for the right job. And I don't think you need to know everything. Have those ones that you're good at and use those. I think I was talking with Adam, and we were just saying earlier, it doesn't matter. Sometimes more animated films and things like that are going to use Storyboard Pro. A lot of the work I've done in film and other things like that, I'm using Photoshop, and delivering the JPEGs, or I'll go back and forth and put it into Storyboard Pro for my animatic or whatever it might be. So I hope that helps you out, Paperbagger. Welcome back. Happy you were able to join the stream. And then Sionis, thanks for the advice. I've been going back through your previous streams too. Cool. Okay, I really appreciate that. I hope it gives you some great value there, and you have some fun with it. So thanks for watching that. So again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. I thank you so much, all you friends out there watching this live and participating with me this evening. And then also, if you're watching this on the replay, I'll leave you with my contact information. I'd really appreciate it. I have this, have fun doing these live streams. So if you're getting some great value out of it, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Help support me and the channel by subscribing. Don't forget to click the bell notification button to let you know when the next time I'm going to post. I'll be posting. We'll be doing another live stream on Thursday and Saturday of this week. We'll be doing our Sketching After Hours on Thursday, and we'll be doing our Storyboard Jam session on Saturday. And I got a couple cool ideas of what we're going to do on both of those days. So if you're able to join me at the same time, I'll be at any time you can jump in. It'd be great. If not, watch the replay. And again, I have a lot of playlists with these, with all these live streams on it. I'd appreciate you taking the time to help support by watching these other videos. What's sort of cool is you can sort of flip through them really quick if there's certain points you want to catch. And stuff like that. And I look forward to our future videos that I've been working on, and start getting those finalized and start posting those as well. So we have a shorter time, and you can sort of get the clips you need and get what you need. So anyways, I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Again, I appreciate you joining me tonight. Till then, have a fantastic evening. Keep drawing and keep leveling up your craft. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Have a fantastic night.